Today's rally adding another $400 billion, by the way, in market cap for stocks. Well, the China talks back on. The markets are upbeat and spirited. The economy still strong. And on the president's plans for border security, well, they're taking hold. The president is spending almost $4 billion to build that border wall he promised. Illegal crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border are also down for a third straight month, reversing the trend of the previous 6 months, but still higher than a year ago. In August, there were nearly 51,000 apprehensions, down 62% from this year's peak in May, but border crossings are still 35% higher than August of last year, but the trend decidedly working in the U.S. favor. Joining us tonight, Acting Customs and Border Protection CBP Commissioner Mark Morgan. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Lou.
Let's start with what is decidedly big developments for this country. A national emergency declared by the president in February. Now the border wall is funded, construction is moving ahead, and crossings are, well, declining.
Absolutely, and let's not forget about the tariff. So right now the numbers, and you're right, we're seeing the numbers go down. We're still crunching the numbers, so we'll get the final numbers out shortly to the American people. But make no mistake, this president's negotiations, his threat of the tariff, and what he's doing also negotiations with the Northern Triangle countries, that's what finally got them off the sidelines to be true partners, to really look at this as a regional crisis. And government of Mexico, their support right now is unprecedented. It's a game changer, and that's one of the most significant reason why the numbers are decreasing.
And we have to remember that the populist president, but a leftist populist in Mexico, Lopez Obrador, had sworn that he would not be cooperating with this president, would not be a partner. Those tariffs convinced him otherwise, and this president persuaded him otherwise.
That's correct.
And to see this reduction at the Mexican border has got to be heartening to you. You run the largest law enforcement agency in the country. You've got plenty to handle down there. What do you believe that you have a firm date, a close date, to when you will have it under control and we'll see significant, insignificant border crossings?
I think it's a great question, and we're asking ourselves that same question. We really hate to put a date on it or a specific number on it, but we do know that if you look back down, if we can get those numbers to 500 or so a day, we're looking at manageable numbers. Now, we would like to get it to 0, of course, but in reality is, if we can get the numbers down to that starts to be manageable. But the challenge is, as great as Mexico's doing, unprecedented, 25,000 troops, unprecedented apprehensions from them on their southern border, increasing their interior enforcement, the acceptance of over 42,000 people through the migrant protection protocol that they're allowed to wait in Mexico instead of in our facilities, and I could go on. They're doing a great work, but that's not sustainable and that's not durable. And you and I have had this talk before. At the end of the day, meaningful changes is going to have to come from Congress. I'm not expecting them to, but at the end of the day, that's what we're going to need. But we're not giving up, Lou. We're going to keep going.
Well, what you'd better do is, based on experience and what we've seen so far, is hope that the Republican Party comes together, supports this president, and it keeps it a matter of considerable focus that this country is in a national emergency still, and that he needs as much help as possible, first from his own party. That would be my suggestion. We'll see how it works out. It's extraordinary when a president is getting more support from the government of Mexico than he is from the Democratic Party in the House and the Senate. It's stunning stuff.
It's frustrating for every man and woman in CBP that's doing their job and risking their lives every single day to protect this country. They're frustrated, not because we're asking them to do things that they haven't done, not because we're asking them to work in hard conditions. They're frustrated because they know what Congress needs to do, and Congress has failed the American people. That's what's frustrating.
This president is moving resources and indeed manpower to the border because of the national emergency he declared, and which the country now recognizes. And yet it is interesting to see a number of people who do not understand that this is a national emergency, that it involves drug cartels shipping illegal immigrants into this country, deadly drugs, sex trafficking.
Every day.
And there are quibbles about this moving $3.6 billion out of the Defense Department. What is your reaction to that?
My reaction is same level of frustration. And this is what the president has delivered. This isn't some vanity project for the president. It's a false narrative, and that gets me hot. This president, this administration, they've listened to the experts, specifically the men and women of the Border Patrol, who said, Mr. President, this is what we need to better effectively do our job. We need that wall. As part of that multi-layered strategy of infrastructure, technology, and personnel, they proved it, they showed it, and he is delivering what the experts are saying they need to effectively do their job and safeguard this country and end this crisis, and he is delivering. Every week we're building more miles of new wall.
Mark Morgan, great to have you here.
Thanks.
Continued good luck.